going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Full 90. It is finally time for the Week 3 Premier League predictions, and we are going from strength to strength. Check this out. We had an unreal performance for the members over the last weekend. Obviously, as you know, you can click the join button down below or the first link in the description to not only support the channel and keep these videos going on a regular basis as they have been for the last 5 years, but you also get exclusive members-only posts, tips, and accumulators. And here were all the accumulator winners on the weekend. We actually were 1 goal away from a 5 league fivefold on the Sunday as well. We had something like, I think it was Dortmund. No, Dortmund's there. It was Frankfurt. Roma was the only one that let us down, basically. We had all 5 other picks right, but Roma drew 2-2 with Salernitana. But the winning Akkers, we have a 5 league fivefold, odds of 7.5 to 1. City, Leicester, Dortmund, Napoli, Real Madrid. So 5 teams, 5 different leagues. A Saturday double, Liverpool halftime, full-time, and Brighton to win. A Serie A double. If you didn't know the Italian league is back, it is. The home comforts double, which I actually said in last week's video. A Sunday double to double that up with West Ham and Chelsea having both teams to score, and then a Monday away days double for AC Milan and Arsenal, which I thought was very cool as well because there weren't many fixtures that day and we picked out the winners. So if you want to get a bunch of accumulators and tips and more one-on-one chats with me, then you can do that by clicking the join link down below, like these 16 people since the last episode. So shout out to all of you: Unruly JN, Lester Gillis or Gillis, Wafudi Masala, Jordan Kelly, Marquis, Fadi Saber, Murta Gunners, Regulon, Killshot99, Dookie Chung, Martinita, It's Me, Kumar John, Rick Wilson, White Christian, and Mr. Nice Guy. Like I said, if you want to get involved with the members, tips, and accumulators like everyone has done here on this list, then you can do that by clicking the join button down below. But with that being said, it's time to get on to this week's predictions. There's a ton of value, some great odds in here, so let's get to it. Chelsea, currently in 15th position, having picked up 1 point, a good point from Liverpool, but then getting absolutely battered by West Ham. That penalty miss could have been a real turning point in that game and maybe in Chelsea's season, you never know. But Chelsea now host Luton. I think it's going to be a high-scoring win. I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to Chelsea. I wasn't brave enough to push the button on Chelsea to win and both teams to score, so my tip is simply going to be over 2.5 goals at 1.53. Not tons of value there, but there's plenty more value to be had in some of my other tips later on. I think Chelsea are obviously way better than Luton, and they do need to get a win on the board. I see Luton losing again. 3-1 win to Chelsea. Now, next up, arguably value pick of the week, we have Bournemouth up against Tottenham. Obviously, I know the Vitality Stadium isn't an easy place to go for, you know, for any team really, but it seems like Big Six teams also struggle just away against Bournemouth. But I am going to go for a 2-1 Tottenham win. They brushed Man United aside. Again, I know it was at home and this is away, but I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Tottenham. And the value here, Tottenham to win, to almost double your money, 1.9. How could I not? So that is it. That is my value shout of the week. Tottenham to win at 1.91. I think that is phenomenal. Those are great odds. After that, we have Arsenal up against Fulham. Arsenal, albeit on 6 out of the 6 possible points, they haven't looked necessarily at their fluid best. Tomiyasu, let's not talk about the red card. I think it's an absolute joke, but we move on. So Tomiyasu will be missing. Timber will be missing. There will be a slight rejig of the back line for Arsenal, but they've got enough going forward. I finally see the floodgates opening in this game. I'm going to go for a 4-2 win to Arsenal. Again, couldn't quite bring myself to press the button on Arsenal and both teams to score. There is a team this week that I've done that, but it's not this game. So I've gone for Arsenal to win and over 2.5 goals at 1.57. That allows for a 3-0, much like this Brentford result here where Fulham got absolutely battered. Obviously, they were down 10 men at one point, but I think Arsenal are going to win this one comfortably at the Emirates. Should be fine. 4-2, Arsenal on 9 out of 9 points. After this, it is Brentford up against Crystal Palace. Brentford, a brilliant start to the season. Crystal Palace, they got that win against Sheffield United, and they couldn't get past the 10 men of Arsenal. Not for lack of trying, but they couldn't get the result. And I, as an Arsenal fan, was a little bit worried about Arsenal's trip to Selhurst Park, so that is a big 3 points for us. I'm going to shade this one to Brentford. I think they're a phenomenal team. Brentford are pushing in the rankings sort of almost worldwide. Like I saw a list earlier today and Brentford just snuck into 20th place in the top best, most powerful, most informed teams in the world. You know, you've got Man City in the 1, Bayern Munich in the 2, and you go down, and Brentford, out of all the teams and all the leagues, makes it into that 20th spot. It just shows how good they've been. I'm going to go 2-1. A bit brave on this outright winner tip here. I'm going to go for Brentford at evens to double your money. I think Palace, I just don't think they are as good as Brentford. That's simply it. And I think Brentford, they look good. I mean, look, they're up there in 4th place. I think they can get a win here. After that, it's Goodison Park, it's Everton, it's the Fortress, it's 0-0. I was really, really tempted to go for a Wolves win. Very tempted. Very, very tempted. But my tip stays away from it. I was going to go for a 1-0 Wolves win. I think Wolves have been... I mean, if you look at their results, the Brighton game, it's just Brighton. And the Man United, they were so unlucky to lose that game. Everton haven't looked great this season. Rock bottom, destroyed by Villa, and they lost to Fulham, which I don't know how they lost to Fulham, to be honest, but they did. I'm just going to go for a 0-0. And at this stage, if you're Wolves and Everton, it's a 6 pointer already. I think they'd be happy for a point. I'm going to go 0-0. My tip is under 2.5 goals at 1.72. And now sometimes you bet on under 2.5 goals in a Wolves game and it randomly has 5 goals in it. That does happen, but for the most part, Wolves games are low scoring. So I'm going to go for my first 0-0 prediction of the year. After that, Man United up against Nottingham Forest. Man United lost to Tottenham Hotspur last week. Man United, Nottingham. I think United are going to win. They're at home. Their away form's been abysmal, but at Old Trafford, I think they're going to get the win. Nottingham Forest should be, you look at this already, just that one win makes it they should be safe from relegation. They unlucky not to get something from Arsenal. They've been playing all right, but Man United need to bounce back. They really need to, so I'm going to go for a 2-0. My tip is Man United to win and under 3.5 goals at 2.2. That brings the 2-1 on side. Both games of Nottingham Forest this season have been 2-1. Man United, we saw the loss to Tottenham 2-0. But Wolves 1-0. It's been low scoring. It's been under 4 goals. So I'm going to go for United to win. And that bumps this price up from 1.3 to 2.2 if you add 3 or less goals. And I don't see it being 4-0 to Man United. And I don't really see an upset here. As much as it would be hilarious, I don't see it happening. After this, it's Brighton up against West Ham. Brighton sitting top of the table, top of the Premier League. And West Ham not far behind in those European spots, having beaten Chelsea as well. Brilliant result there, but Brighton, they look on another level. They've scored 8 goals, they've conceded 2, it's high scoring. Part of me was tempted to go 4-1 again, but are we going to go back-to-back 4-1s? I think 2 in a row is enough. I'm going to go for 3-1 though. Repeat scoreline of West Ham's win against Chelsea, but the other way this time, Brighton to win. And my tip is, I've pressed the button, Brighton to win, and both teams to score at 2.75. Now, 2.75 odds for a team to win and both teams to score is unreal. You're approaching teams like Bayern Munich in their home league and PSG when they had Messi and Mbappe firing in their home league. That's the kind of odds you get when you have someone like RB Leipzig playing against a low Bundesliga team. Like 2.75 for winning both teams to score is such low odds. And that just shows how likely it is, because you don't get those odds really. Even Man City and both teams to score is usually at odds of about 3 or more, just because of how strong Man City's defense is. So to have odds of less than 3 shows how likely it is Brighton score a ton of goals and probably just let one in the other end. So I've gone for it this time. I think Brighton can get another win. And West Ham, I think they can get on the score sheet. They've done it every game here, so why not again? And Brighton have conceded every time. They've conceded to Luton and to Wolves, but put loads in the back of the net. So I'm going to go 3-1 here. I'm quite confident on that. After this, it's Burnley up against Aston Villa. Aston Villa, a statement victory against Everton. That was always going to happen. Burnley, their fixture against Luton was obviously postponed, so we've only seen them against Manchester City, so it's difficult to predict. But I'm just going to shade this to Aston Villa. Burnley could get a point, but I like the odds here. It's above evens again, so my tip is going to be Aston Villa to win at 2.1. I think they will have enough to beat this Burnley side. I can see Aston Villa sort of being around here in the league and Burnley finishing around here in the league. So we shall see. Maybe Burnley come into it sort of later on in the season, but I think Aston Villa can catch Burnley sleeping a little bit. They do play in Europa League or Europa Conference League qualifying, so maybe that'll make things a little bit more difficult for them. So maybe I should perhaps consider a draw here, but it is hard to look past Villa even with that extra game played. Sheffield United, Man City, I'm not going to dwell on this too long. I could go 5-0, but De Bruyne's injured. And, I mean, Man City, they just look good. They don't need to win 8-0 here. They're just going to win. It's going to be a lot. My tip is Man City, halftime, full-time at 1.66. Find your value where you like. You could go as far as, say, Man City -2 handicap. That's probably odds of about 1.92. But I just think Man City are going to batter Sheffield United. Man City win to 0 is probably only about 1.6. So there's not a lot of value in here, so I've just gone halftime, full-time. And after that, game of the week, I would say, it is Newcastle up against Liverpool. Liverpool, they're on 4 points. As you see here, they beat Bournemouth. They were down to 10 men, of course, and they drew with Chelsea. Newcastle, they lost 1-0 to Man City. They didn't really create a lot, though, in all honesty. But I do think they will here. I think there's going to be a lot of goals, and I'm actually going to go for 2-2. A draw, my tip is both teams scored over 2.5 goals at 1.66. I know Arsenal's fixture list has kind of favoured them, but, you know, this would see the top 3 teams here move on to 9 points, and then you've got Liverpool dropping points against Newcastle. Obviously, Newcastle dropping points, West Ham losing, you know, Tottenham and Brentford pushing the top spots, but already the league table is starting to take place. So both teams to score and over 2.5 goals is my tip there. And that is going to do it for my Week 3 Premier League predictions. So if you did enjoy it, please do drop a like, subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. We're on the road to 25,000 subscribers. And if you want to support that channel a little bit more and you are able to do so and you want to get exclusive tips, you can click the join button down below. But that is going to do it from me, and I'll see you in the next video very soon.